October 23rd, 2007, Elvington, York. Local farmer Tom Piercy buys Dunnington Lodge, a site on the outskirts of the city. He sets out to create York Maze, a seasonal attraction for families to enjoy. But no one could have prepared him for the tragedy and despair that would follow his good intentions. October 26th, 2010. 3 years on from the maze's conception, and Tom Piercy looks to expand into the Halloween season. He sets a team to work on digging foundations for the maze's first haunted house. All goes well until something stirs beneath the soil. Thick white bones begin to surface. Bones too big to be cattle or any farmyard animal. Small primate rib cages, long winding spines, and piercing teeth on crooked jaws. Unfazed, the unnerved farmer continues with his dig. October 28th, 2010. Tom's mind begins to linger on the digger's findings. He begins to research the site alone. Finding nothing to aid his initial investigation, he retires to bed. 2:25 a.m. Tom receives a phone call from his night watchman.
Tom, something's not quite right at the maze tonight. There's all sorts of stuff going on. I'm hearing noises and animals and screams and stuff, and I thought there must be someone on the side, but I can't find anyone. I don't think I can do this much longer. I'm going to have to leave. I'm sorry to let you down, Tom, but I just don't want to stick around.
After that night's horrifying events, the petrified watchman vowed never to work at York Maze again. This tipped Tom over the edge. He wanted to get to the bottom of the disturbances immediately, so he sought his solicitor's aid. There, in a heap of documents, diaries and plans, the following harrowing story formed before the farmer. October 22nd, 1873. The CW Tornees travelling circus journeys north for its final performance of the season. Led by their headstrong ringmaster, Mr. Charles William Tornees, the troupe look to impress their new audience. Charles has his eye fixated on the Knavesmire in York, yet their season was going appallingly. Their master and commander had driven the circus into financial despair, for his obsession in experimenting with machinery and invention had cost him no small fortune. Steam-powered engines of immense complexity, concoctions, mechanisms, and a flood of new operators. A glimpse into the future, he would call it. A glimpse that would go overlooked. October 30th, 1873. 13 tickets are sold on the Knavesmire. Charlie and his machinery are heckled and booed from the stage yet again. Leaving his performers at the roadside, a downtrodden Charlie flees to the Ye Olde Star Inn on Stonegate to collect his thoughts. Grabbing a drink, his eyes fall upon a group of rowdy locals playing cards and drinking whiskey. The barman informs him quietly that the man at the end of the table is one Leonard Dunnington, a farmer, a drunk, and a gambler. Charlie's eyes glint. An opportunity to win a fortune. Joining the table, Charlie gets to grips with the game. A master of trickery, sleight of hand, and illusion, he could soon turn the table in his favor. Hand after hand goes by until Leonard's stack drops short. Charlie is on top, and as planned, everything is going his way. With nothing left, an angered Leonard drinks deep into his liquor. Charlie seizes his moment, a wager. He proposes to Leonard that if he is to win the next hand, the farmer must offer him and his circus lodgings for the winter season. If he is to lose, Leonard may take back all of his money, and he will never see nor hear of Charles W. Tornees again. The deal is struck. One swift flick of his wrist, and Charlie had taken the game. His circus would have a home for the winter months. Leonard was left furious and fooled. October 31st, 1873. The troupe arrives at Dunnington Lodge. Leonard watches as a fleet of acrobats, clowns, animals, dwarves and freaks parade their way through his land. A huge tent is erected to house the animals for the season, and the circus troupe settles down for the evening. But old habits die hard. Much to the dismay of his performers, Charlie takes over the blacksmith's quarters to continue his work on his futuristic attraction. Leonard drinks himself into a bottle of whiskey in his barn. A laughingstock to his friends for losing the bet, company arrives. Corny, the circus's lead clown, joins him for a drink. Leonard spares no time in damning Charlie to hell, but Corny reveals that he too loathes the ringmaster, dropped as the headline act to make way for smoke, cogs, and metal. They drink on, united in their hate. A few sips more, and Corny lets slip the ultimate fumble of words. Charles Tornee is a cheat, a trickster, an illusionist, and a master of cards. With this, Leonard works himself into a rage. Grabbing his pitchfork, he sets off into the farmyard to get his revenge. Corny does his best to stop the frantic farmer, but in a blind surge, the pitchfork pierces his stomach. He dies in the barn as the first domino to fall and the catastrophe to follow. In his pursuit across the land, Leonard encounters his man. Despite his protests and his appeals to the angered farmer, Charlie meets his maker. Leonard's pitchfork slices through his throat, and gasping, he falls into a bloody heap. Leonard does not stop there. He hurls a lamp onto the nearby hay bale, his final act of madness. An inferno ignites. Flames engulf every tent, barn, and object in their path. Dunnington Lodge becomes a ball of smoke and fire. The animals perish. The performers are crushed and choked. The circus troupe suffers due to Charlie's trickery. Leonard makes his way through the fiery walls of destruction, content with his ultimate act of revenge. Bottle in hand, he watches his lodge burn to the ground. 37 men and 12 women died on that night. They were all buried on the farm. Performers next to their ringmaster, animals next to their keepers. Leonard Dunnington was arrested, trialed and hanged at Tyburn Gallows at York Castle for the massacre at Dunnington Lodge. He died alone. It is not known where he is laid to rest.
And now, it's said that 200 years later, in the unearthing of the burial ground of the CW Tornees circus, Tom Piercy has unleashed the spirits of the dead, freeing their restless souls. Whilst they remain quiet through the summer season, at Halloween, they return to walk the land, seeking revenge against their destroyer and anyone who will stand in their way. Will you be brave enough to enter York Maze's Hallowscream?